Alright. So, we're back with new needles. I'm actually gonna try a different gauge right now. Sorry, I saw a weird color on the edge of the tail and I didn't know what that was about. I've not used the medium gauge. Oh wow, that's a thick boy there. I've not used the medium gauge yet. I don't know if this is gonna work. We'll see. I might have to go back to the small gauge that I've got sitting there. But we'll see. He's definitely a lot sturdier. But I have a feeling my hand's gonna get a lot more tired, or tired a lot more quickly. One of those. Alright. So, we were working on this tail section last night when the other needle snapped and we stopped suddenly. Uh-oh, hold on. My microphone's being weird. Why is my microphone being weird? I think it's picking up. The whole line on it went red briefly. I don't know what that was about. Alright, so how are we gonna attach you? I wonder. Alright. Have our little massage table here for our friend. See if we can do this without snapping this needle. I might have to go back to the other one. I've not used this gauge before. So I'm not sure how it feels when we hit the skeleton, but I don't feel like we're really even entering. Yeah, you know what? I don't like this one. I just don't like the feel of it. I think that might be for larger projects, perhaps. I mean, we could try it when we do the Bob Ross stuff, but yeah, we've got a lot of fiber here that we have to get through, so it's definitely a lot easier to get in here with on this needle set. So what day is it even? It's Wednesday, right? We won't be going too long because husband and I are eating together again tonight. Well, maybe I did hit the wire last night. Although I thought I had him turned the other way, so I thought he was stomach up. But that other needle had been bent for some time and we'd been trying to bend it back into place, so we might have just hit a tough spot in the fiber. I didn't even slam it into there that hard, which is why it surprised me. Well, this is a fresh small gauge. And I did find the other needle last night, eventually. we were looking, my husband was looking around the floor, around my chair. He's like, do you have shoes on? I'm like, no. And so he was going to get me shoes, and I went to stand up, and my hand brushed my lap, and I was like, ow. And I was like, oh, hey. It must have hit my shoulder, and I didn't feel it because it was so light. And it must have dropped down immediately into my lap, and I just didn't feel it because I had fuzzy pajama pants on. Okay, so that is the skeleton is in there. Maybe I did hit the skeleton, I just didn't feel it because the needle snapped. Very possible. So we're gonna have to go fairly slow. Make sure we don't do anything too silly here. So, hope everybody's week's been going okay. We were reworking how we're gonna do the challenge accepted Planet Zoo thing between the husband and I, so he's gonna readjust the map layout. We might end up starting that on Saturday. Since I don't have any other obligations this week. And that's just gonna be a when we get around to it type thing, or when we feel up to doing it. Type of situation. Sometimes it might end up on YouTube, sometimes it might end up on here. Well, I mean, all of it's going to end up on YouTube in the end, but there could be some parts that are just recorded depending on how he's feeling. And that's going to get streamed on my channel. Because he said he doesn't really have any community to stream for. He's more than welcome to do it on his own channel, though, if he wants to. But I don't think we've gotten his channel fully set up yet. Alright, Mr. Dino here. We're working in a very delicate area. I had to pop out the extra padding. to help give you some height. To make this a little bit easier. So we'll see how that goes. If it helps or not. But this is the last gift that I have left to work on. That is Ed scratching himself, sitting on the windowsill, hitting the window. He does that in the middle of the night, or the way, way early morning hours, or late morning hours, as I'm sitting here trying to fall asleep. And all of a sudden it just sounds like somebody's like banging on the window. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, cat, must we? Huh? Oh, the cat tapping the window. Constantly scaring the shit out of me at night. Because at night, I've got the window covered. Obviously, so you can't see that he's sitting on the windowsill. So again, we're being super careful in here. Super, 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 super careful. Alrighty, we're getting it worked in, but again, patience. We really need to use patience on this whole thing. Because we don't necessarily know where that, wire skeleton is in there. Piece of plant fiber. Was in there. I wanted to pull that out while I was looking at it. Like, I can feel the skeleton when I hit it. We don't want to snap another needle if we can help it. So we're just gonna proceed extremely cautiously. Because I don't know how deep it is in all of the places. At least with the wire in there, I don't have to worry if I move a limb a little too roughly, I can just try to bend it back into place. Is that your phone?
What? No, I heard someone driving by.
It almost sounded like a horn beeping or some kind of vibration or something. That was weird. Alright. So, I mean, what's wrapped around the skeleton, so we have the metal skeleton, right? And then I took some of that multicolored roving that we've been using all this time and wrapped that around the skeleton and tried to needle felt it onto there. So this is like real loose, this coating. The head has some styrofoam 1.5 inch balls in there, cut one in half for the top jaw and the other half is for the bottom jaw. And we kind of worked on getting that into place. That's going to be a little tricky to get his final color coat on there, but I think we'll be able to do it. I've not made a creature this large before, number one. Number two, I've not made a standing statue thingy like this before. And number three, I've never really done a dino before, so we are all sorts of just figuring out as we go here. Alright, let's see here. You stay up there. I don't need that inner roving getting attached to the outer color if we can help it. I'm gonna have some spots, so there's gonna be a couple of splits here and there, and I think I'm just gonna kind of roll with it. Okay, just wanted to make sure we're still standing under our own power. Okay. And I'm probably gonna have to fluff more of this color. It's definitely probably gonna happen. We'll see though, but not be surprised. Alright, so I'm just kind of snaking this a little bit. Wow, that camera angle, he's like sitting flat, but it looks like he's sitting sideways. Can't really... Oh, there's not much I can do about that. The camera's sitting on the top of my monitor, so the only time it's really noticeable is if I'm doing something like 3D. When we're doing the flat Bob Ross stuff where we're technically painting with the roving or yarn, whatever it is we happen to be working on, it's not quite as noticeable. All right. Let's start to work this in. This spot's going to be a little tricky. So we want to definitely go slow. I'm sorry I'm zoomed out a little bit more than I was on the on the ornaments, but he's a little bit bigger. So if we want to get all of him in here, this is about the zoom distance I need to be. But I mean, we can kind of see. He's a little awkward because he's so long. But husband and friend weren't doing anything at the moment. So I was like, well, let's see if we can pop in here and get a little bit of work done. On our Dino butt here. Just working on getting this color layer in over the tail. And where the tail is going to attach, or where the tail does attach. So it's technically, we're already on there pretty solidly. So again, I'm working a little bit slower because we have that wire in there. And this is a brand new needle. Alright, so how was I doing this? Was I gonna come up to here, I think? So I can definitely feel that needle on this side. So it seems to have shifted in our roving wrapping. Or the roving wrapping shifted around it to be thicker on the back. I was trying to get it in the middle. That obviously didn't work. I mean, the fiber's gonna do what the fiber's gonna do, right? Definitely a arm workout, though. That's for sure. I was surprised at how solid the boat ornament came out. That sucker is heavy. You know, by comparison, you know, it's made out of fluff that weighs like next to nothing. But we've got it so tightly compressed. I mean, the sucker's got some heft to it. I still have to finish putting his little hanger guy on. Excuse me. But that'll only take a second. And now I'm positive that the glue is dry on it. I will probably try to get that today at some point. Got a lot planned for later this evening. After dinner. I wasn't able to shampoo the rug I needed to last night because our vacuum had to vacuum first, and our vacuum has this little foam pad like against the air filter section, and when that gets too full of dust and shit, it doesn't suck anymore. So we washed that out, and where we put it to dry, I guess I had accidentally sprayed it when I was doing the dishes, and it wasn't dry last night, so I was like, oh shit. Or it wasn't dry enough. It was kind of dry, but I didn't want to create like a cement situation with getting dust in there. I don't want to fuck up the vacuum, so as much as it pained me, I had to put that project on pause. So now I have to try again tonight. We made sure that we moved where the pad was drying. And we checked on it a little bit ago, and it seems to be dry enough now. And I was really hoping that I wasn't going to have to shampoo that rug again before Christmas, but it's a high traffic rug. And it needs it. But I have to wait until my mom's done walking back and forth across it to get out to the kitchen. So she doesn't slip in the kitchen. Because she's not that steady on her feet. And we can't really afford anybody slipping. So I'm just gonna have to wait until a bit later. Mr. Dino, you're being most, not necessarily uncooperative, but most awkward. Right in here. Well, I try to attach this fluff. I mean, there's gonna be these little awkward sections here. With how I have it attached. So that part doesn't really surprise me. Yeah, so we have to make dinner, and then we have to do dishes, and then vacuum, and all that fun housey stuff. That's not really fun at all, but has to get done. Alright. So he's gonna get some other colors added onto him in spots. But right now, I don't have that happening. Like, it's gonna be one of the last things that gets done here. Since those will just be, look, thigh bone, thigh fluff. Stay on your thigh. Then the barbs in the needle keep catching the little wispies coming off of it. Alright. That's not too bad. Are you still gonna stand for me? Looks like it. Okay, we don't have you too out of alignment then. Alright, so that was wrapping that actually. You don't look too terrible, all things considered, all the way around there, so. Grab another bit of the fluffy stuff. What color is this? Jewel. Marvin. Behave. Marvin's over here falling all over the place. Alright, so this is the Paint Box Simply Chunky yarn that we're using right now. And it is in the color Jewel. You don't have to use yarn necessarily. You could just use straight roving. It might have been less hassle just to make this out of roving and skip the skeleton part, but I didn't have roving in the right color, and it just was easier, all things considered, for me to do it this way. Alright. Let's see if we can continue our color wrapping here as best as we can. So yeah, I mean, if we didn't have the skeleton in here, we'd be flying through this a lot faster. Well, as much as I fly through anything, but we wouldn't have to be quite so mindful of that wire. Now the wire, it's pretty thick wire, which is why I have to be careful. So I used 16 gauge galvanized wire. I mean, you can bend it, but you really gotta put some oomph into it, so. We had that laying around for a different project, and I can't remember what it was originally supposed to be for the life of me. Sorry, my mouse was being weird. We give our dino a bit of a massage here. Massage? Acupuncture treatment? Maybe acupuncture treatments more accurate. So this block that I have him sitting on, it's just more foam. That's all it is. It's the foam I'm gonna make the new mat out of for our Bob Ross painting. So I don't know how it'll hold up. We'll see. It's just our little mat here, our 8x10 mat, or slightly under 8x10 mat. It's starting to show some wear and tear. It's starting to get kind of buckly and bulgy. And we can still use it, but I'd rather try to do the Bob Ross stuff on a flat surface if we can. It'll be an experiment. We'll see what happens. Alright, so we'll get this kind of wrapped around our leg joint here. Alright, let me come back around to the front. As we are being ever so careful. Now I'll probably start to wrap the legs here in a minute. Since the feet are getting kind of wonky. I already had to do a minor repair job to one of the foots. One foot? One of the feet. Already while it was just kind of getting moved around and chilling off to the side while we were working on the other gifts for the family. But since those are done, we can work on this guy a bit more. Now the Dino's in quotations because he's gonna have some things added to him towards the end. If I have time. I have a feeling we're going to be really cutting it close on this guy. Just because of the care that we're going to have to take care. And I had planned to do something a little bit extra with him. But we'll see if I'm able to pull that off. He's already told me he's fine if it's not ready on time. But I'm gonna try like hell to make that happen. As best as we can. starting to speed up a little, and I'm like, donk. I'm like, oh, right, wire joint there. Alright, let's move back to the back section here. Just work on getting our joint filled in. I also used some tape around where like the leg connection was on the inside. I wasn't originally planning on streaming this guy. I was going to originally record him, but his beginning stages were just such a mess, and he was so hard to keep on camera that I ended up scrapping that idea. I didn't think we'd get around to showing him on stream. But here he is. And this roving core, this color, is actually working in our favor a little bit, because wherever there's any like thin spots or splits or something, or this color happens to be coming through, the base color happens to be coming through the top color for whatever reason, it kind of works. So I'm just gonna kind of go with it. Kind of looks like creases and folds in his skin in a couple of places. Alright. Hang on. What are we doing here? Okay, look you. What are we gonna do that? I'm trying to figure out where this wants to sit. Sometimes the roving has a mind of its own. And it's just easier to not fight it and just to go with it, so I'm trying to figure out where it wants to go. We'll see if it's going to be happy with where I tucked it. Actually, some of this foam's been sitting around for a while, so it's a little discolored. There we go. Now I'm not leaning on your arms. That's a little better. Like, I don't want to completely bend the arms out of shape. And then have to fight those back into place. That would just be a bit of a pain. Just a bit. Okay, I'm hitting the wire, so let's turn this guy a bit. And try tapping this in from a different angle. See if that goes a little bit easier. And it might. Still have to be careful though. especially around our hip area, because the wire's an absolute hot mess in there around this section. The things I had to do to get that attached. There were pliers involved, there was all kinds of twisting of wire, tape to try to hold the legs in place because this wasn't all one piece of wire. Also, because I wasn't sure if I'd be able to pull that off, because there's a solid piece of wire running from somewhere in here, maybe to here, all the way down to about here ish. Then I've got one piece branching up and one piece branching down, connecting the two jaws, upper and lower, and then we've got the shoulder connection for the arms going forward, and then we've got the hip connection branching off. So he's got quite a lot of hardware in there. Oh, such an awkward spot to be. Trying to twist this guy into view. So it's gonna be some weird angles here because I need to see what I'm doing. And the camera angle and I are not facing the same way, so. Alright, that's not too bad. Alright, friend, you hang out on your little lounger there for a second. Okay. Gonna get some more fluff. Now, do I want to start at the foot and work up to the hip, or do I want to start at the hip and work down to the foot? I mean, these are the heavy-hitting questions here. I don't know. I think when I first put the fluff on, when I put the roving on the wire, I think I started at the hip. So that way I could work off the body. Question is, what was that? Cow's been a bit of a dick lately, trying to get into the pantry. So any extraordinarily odd noises we've had to get up and check. He's been knocking stuff out of there. He's been trying to rip open the bag of pasta. Well, a couple bags of pasta in there. So this could take a couple of passes to get this covered sufficiently. Well, I'm okay with some of the color from underneath showing through in spots. I don't want it to be like that everywhere. You know, some small patches of it here and there, fine, whatever. This is a bit more of the tricky direction here. Trying to stab into this hard to see hip joint. Excuse me. So we might have to adjust the stance spread of the legs as we go. Gonna keep trying to do standing checks on him to make sure we haven't gotten him too off kilter here. All right. That tapped in there. Okay. Gonna work on this angle now. You alright?
Yeah, I'm gonna spend a couple minutes in the other room with the other cat.
Okay.
Oh, Little, you okay?
You alright?
Yeah, she just plowed straight into my leg.
Oh, okay. She's good at doing that. So Cal gets himself worked up into a tizzy sometimes when he is in the kennel. And the other cat's mad that she didn't get to come out today. But when we let her out, she just perches in the kitchen and just sits there. And I'm like, why don't you go, like, visit with members of the household? And nope, she just curls up in the kitchen and sleeps. And I'm like, well, he doesn't need to be in timeout if you're just gonna sit there and sleep. I mean, Russell was with you all night. So, sounds like he's gonna go and...
Alright, never mind. She's about ready to fly the coop, so I guess someone's gonna have to go in there.
Oh, she wants out of there that bad? You've got to clean his cage, though.
Yeah.
It's a good-sized dog kennel. I mean, we had both the boys in there. It's big enough for a small litter box and food and water for him. I mean, he has all of the creature comforts, a blanket. But she wants out of there bad, it seems. It's just so she can sit. I think she's just out there to beg for food. Even though she has food. I keep trying to get it in my mom's head that you can't just give her whatever she's begging for, because she has a very sensitive stomach, number one. Number two, she's a cat. And her stomach seems to be very tiny. Whenever my mom shares anything with her, she like overshares, and then the cat's sick. So I'm like, could we not? So, this is really going to be Russell's lizard folk. D&D character. But he thinks it's going to be a dinosaur. So, we're just running with the dinosaur bit. So I have to make him close. Sorry, I'm talking really quiet because he's in the other room. So I have to make him close to some degree, and we're gonna try to make it look close to the description that he put on for looking for artist Reddit. I made him send me the post because I was curious. I was originally going to try to draw it. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to draw this. So then I was like, hey, what if we needle felt him a statue? It's going to be really derpy looking, but hey, we're going to try, right? And you swapped out his food bowl?
Yeah. He's only going to be in there for about an hour. Once my gets her snacks and loses interest in anything but sleeping, I'll just put her back in the sleep room.
Okay. I mean, she was with you all night. I don't know why she's being...
Because she was bored and lonely.
I think she just wanted her snacks, to be perfectly honest.
Entirely possible. She immediately ran to your dad and started meowing, so...
That seems to be tradition when she manages to get out of there. What, she was trying to get around you?
Yeah, she tried to dash out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even with Cowl on the loose.
Yeah, that's why swapping out, I'm like, oh, alright, fine, I'll give you a little bit of time.
The lure of the kitty treats. Very strong with that one. Alright. Oh, right, we have to do a stand-up check. Okay, it's not too bad. He is leaning a little bit, but that's also because we've been working on that leg, so that's not really that big of a thing. That should be fine. Okay, now. Oh, there it is. My mouse like goes to sleep if I don't keep using it for a certain amount of time. Okay. And then I lose it when I need it. Alright, Dino will be back in just a second. As I am trying to wrap our leggy here. I mean, we're not doing too terribly time-wise, right? So about an hour to get the rest of the tail wrapped. And thereabouts. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit tricky. We're going to have to come in kind of at an angle in this particular spot because the bar's like right here. Hear that tap? That's the wire. That, I don't want to slam this through my finger with the angle that I'm at here. That would not help anything. At all. Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna try to hit this at a little bit of an angle here. At least right along where the wire's hanging out. Just to try to be careful that we don't bend this one. I can get some decent mileage out of these guys, providing I don't do anything stupid. Okay, so let me flip you over. And we'll see about getting the front section here cleaned up a bit. Try to get some of these frizzy flyaways worked in. As much as we can here. As gently as we can. Because I have a knack for finding that armature wire. Alright, come here, Dino. Let's get the right finger in there, i.e. the protected one. All right. Get you coming together. Pretty good. So we're stabbing through gently, prodding through the top color into the roving that's wrapped around the skeleton. And that will anchor this top color into place here. All right, I've got dino feet in my face. suppose there are worse things to have in your face. I suppose. Alright. Let's see, how are we looking? How are we feeling? Doesn't seem to be too bad. Alright, Mr. Dino. We do have a bit of extra fluff and stuff down here in this spot. I don't know. I'm gonna be able to duplicate that on the other side. I guess we'll find out as we get there. Or we could just start working on the other hip while we're up here as well. That's also an option. Alright. Just trying to get this into a shape that I can work with here. As best as we can. Alright, hang on. Give me your mattress. We're gonna have to come off the spa table for just a minute, Mr. Dino. And I'm sorry. I guess he was enjoying his acupuncture treatment. At least to some degree. I do not like it being dark already. Not one bit. Is Zuzu looking to go potty? Zuzu! Did he leave?
The only one I saw was Momo.
Oh, Zuzu was over here at the food bowl for a second. At least I thought it was Zuzu. I say there was water in both bowls. I made sure of that before I got started. Tell you, that dog gets so excited when Russell is laying down in bed. I was waking up and Russell laid down for a minute and we were just kind of chilling there talking, and all of a sudden he came in and he looked at Russell's desk and he's like, "Aw," like you could see the expression in his ears. He's like kind of confused. He's like, "Where's Dad?" And then he looked towards the bed and his ears shot up and he got so excited, like, oh my goodness, Daddy's laying down, oh my goodness." And then he could not get on the bed fast enough. Jumped over me like I didn't even exist. I had doggy feet in my back and in my ribs and everything. He could not get to Russell fast enough. And then he was just smothering Russell. He was so excited. And then Russell goes, well, what about Mommy? Why don't you give Mommy kisses? And he left. I'm like, gee, thanks, guys. Thanks.
Oh, I see them all.
Thanks, Mr. Doggo. Brat. I don't know what his deal is. He's being weird about being in here. I think it started when the mice became an issue again in the attic, but we haven't had mice sounds for some time. Either they've gotten good about being stealth ninjas up there, or they just haven't come back since the last round. We may have finally found how they were getting in and managed to block it. We'll see, though. I mean, could also be the new outdoor, well, not the new, but the outdoor cat child that's been around this time might actually be a better hunter than the other one was. So maybe they're keeping them at bay. Possibly. But we have not had to set up the live traps in a while. I want to say a couple of months now. But we're also supposed to drop down into bitter cold temperatures for here next week. Well, towards the end of this week and into next week as well. The dreaded S word was in the forecast. Not terribly so, but little hints of maybe a snow shower or two. And the daytime temps don't really look cold enough to support anything happening during the day. Ice is usually our biggest concern here. Although the wet snow on the last snowstorm proved to be problematic for the power situation. Considering I don't even really think that much snow fell. I think it was like maybe 4 inches. Which, you know, for Russell and I, that's chump change, because he's originally from New Hampshire. And I'm originally from New Jersey, and 4 inches wasn't really all that much in New Jersey. It was enough to be a pain in the ass, but I mean, if you could still see the grass through it, then it's hard to be excited about it. I don't mind snow necessarily, but it just complicates life a lot more around here because they don't treat the roads right. Like, I think they pre-treat the interstates around here, but out in our area, our town doesn't really seem to do any pre-treating. Like back home in Jersey, man, you saw the salt trucks out. They were brining the roads like 2 days ahead of time, getting the salt water layer built up on there. And then they'd be out salting and sanding through the whole storm. Here is a much different approach, which I find odd, but I think it's just because they don't have it in the budget. The only time, I don't think I've ever actually seen them pre-treat the road. Like, we live on a county road, so the county takes care of it for the most part. So you might see one of the county snowplows go by putting something down during the storm. But I've never actually seen them pre-treat out in our area, and then it seems like the city itself doesn't really do anything until either traffic starts getting messy or people start bitching to the police department that they're sliding through intersections and stuff, or until the storm's over. It's very strange. Alright. Look, you. I need to see. My glasses are to help me see stuff far away, so having these dino feet in my face is a little tricky. How did I have you sitting before? I think I had you like this. But the other foot, the other leg was spread a little bit wider. Sorry, this part of the tail's been looking a little fuzzy. It's bugging me. Alright. Now, let's see here. Are we ready for another wrap of color on you? We might be. Okay. So, I'm hoping we don't get too much snow next week, but I guess we'll see. See how this works out here. Alright. Let me borrow your spa. Look, I know I took your spa bed away, but you don't have to get angry about it. Only for a second. Okay. Now, let's see what we can do here. Don't know if I'll be able to get these legs the same width apart. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. So we won't be back to regularly scheduled art stuff until we're done the dino, I guess. I'm gonna keep working on him offline as much as I can stand it. And I say that because I need to take breaks with my neck. So it's jarring on my neck. Some days are worse than others, so sometimes we need to take a little extra break from the stabbing of the creatures. Just checking our time here. All right. Still need to be a little bit gentle. Can't forget that. So tomorrow we'll probably still be on break from Coral Island, and I do apologize, but really gotta get this guy done. We are getting into some of the trickier bits with him. As we are working here, so I'm having trouble finding a spot to turn him at the moment. Just so we can get in here. See what all we're doing. But this yarn doesn't seem to do too badly. I'm not sure if I prefer this or the big twist yet. That I'm just not sure of. But it gets the job done. And I did the roving core just because I wasn't certain if, or the roving base, just because I wasn't certain if, the, yarn would wrap around this, that well, and it was going to take a fuck ton of yarn. And I didn't think I had that much in these colors, because the paint box balls that I got are a little bit smaller than the big twist balls, so but the paint box I'm using the chunky, so the yarn's a little bit thicker, so I don't know how much that kind of evens itself out, if it does. It probably really doesn't. Or if it you know, if it is a little bit more, because it's thicker, it's probably not much more. I'm probably just deluding myself into thinking, oh yeah. But let's see here if we can get some stuff done here But we will see how things go. See how much mileage I get out of this ball of yarn. I'm hoping we don't use all of this color on this project, but you know, if we do, we do. I'm hoping I have enough. I think I should. If we can get stuff done here. Give me 1 second though, I'll be right back. Gotta check on something real quick. Alright, sorry about that. I'm back. The cats were all being bad at the same time, doing different things. Peanut was trying to swallow part of the fake Christmas tree, like full on in his mouth. I'm like, look, cat, could you stop trying to uncat yourself? And he knew he wasn't supposed to be doing it, because when I yelled at him, he looked at me and then got further under the tree so I couldn't see him. And then I had to turn around and go grab the spray bottle. And as soon as he saw me coming with the spray bottle, he took off. And Cal was trying to dig his way out of the kennel, which isn't gonna work. And Russell was trying to do something in the kitchen. And the cat was just, the noise was driving him mad, so I heard Russell yelling at the cat, and I'm like, what are you doing? What is happening? I don't know if it came through the microphone or not, but I heard it. And I was like, I need to go check on him. Everybody's fine. He was just mad. He's stressed out, and the anxiety and everything is just getting to him. Plus we had to pay bills today, and had to pay an extra bill that we weren't supposed to have to pay. But something about the house insurance is going up, property insurance or whatever, and because apparently if the house burns down, the insurance company is saying, well, because property values have gone up in the area, the house is worth more than what you're paying, or some bullshit. I don't know. Something along those lines. You know, the shitty adult stuff that you have to deal with. So I managed to get my mom to chip in some money towards the bill that we have to suddenly pay, because it's an internet bill and we're not paying all of it, we're paying half of it, so I got her to chip in at least for a couple of months. Alright, did you set a timer?
Yes.
Okay. How long does that take to cook?
20 minutes.
Alright, when that's
I
done...
assume I would start to fries when that's done.
Yeah. Might as well since the oven's on. No sense in making it, turning it off and then restarting it. Alright, so I mean, we're not doing too bad. We do have some of that purple shining through on the butt, but it's not terribly noticeable. So I think we're doing pretty good there. Did I not have more of this? Did I like walk away and have some of it attached to me? I don't know. I'm suddenly not sure. Well, if there is more that I missed, I'm sure I'll find it attached to me later. I didn't remember using that last bit that I had pulled off, but maybe I did. Alright. So... this all a little bit. Alright, you know what, we should probably... Alright, so we're still standing. I mean, we're going to be a little top heavy, but I'd have to put something in the tail to weigh it down to keep that from happening. I think we're doing fairly okay. Alright, I will say our little spa table here definitely seems to be making this a bit easier. To work with here. Probably why I'm moving at the speed that I am moving at. Be a lot slower without this little extra bit of padding here. Yeah, anywhere where it feels like I'm hitting that wire, I'm gonna try to come in sideways a little bit. Just a little. Just to make sure that it is anchored in there. As good as we can be. We will see. Alright, let's work on this side now. I know it's hard to see because the Dino's legs are in the way. And this guy's getting all sorts of acupuncture and chiropractic adjustment here. It's the One Stop Dino Health Center. Getting a full body exfoliation. Kinda. Skin repair maybe would be a better. Skin rejuvenation, let's go with that. Skin rejuvenation treatment. He's getting it all. Facial probably won't be today. In fact, I know it won't be today. Because we're not going to be done this leggy before we have to stop for dinner. That much I do know. Alright, so get this guy worked in on this side. You can kind of see the yarn fluff tightening up as we're trying to gently prod through all of our layers here as best as we can. It probably won't be a perfect attachment, but if we can get better than this, because this is all sorts of loose and frizzy and in desperate need of a haircut. I don't know if we're gonna have to do a haircut run or pass on this guy. I'm not fully anticipating it. Like, I don't think it's necessarily gonna be needed, but then again, there's some spots on the tail that are a little extra all over the place, so maybe we'll have to see how frizzy he's looking by the time we're done here. Reginald J. Dino. Reginald J. Dino Man. I don't know what his name's really supposed to be. It just sounded like a ridiculous name. Does your dino have a name?
No.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be calling him by a specific name or not. So we'll go temporary alias. Reginald J. Dino Man. Alright, that's not... It's not bad. If I could stop attaching myself to everything. It's not bad. It's pretty solid. Pretty solid, so, well, depending on which way he's facing. There we go. So we finished up the tail coloration up to, where are we at? Here. We started to get the coloration on the hip in here. And we're starting to work down this leggy here. I might have to get some more yarn fluffed. Don't know if that needs to be tonight, but one night this week at least. I doubt this is going to be enough to... That hip is very skinny. Sorry, I'm just having a thought of if I need to... Well, I mean, that might work out. I might have to beef up that thigh a little bit, though. I don't know if he's quite beefy enough. He might not be. Alright, where am I attaching here? I'm trying to find my loose bits. Trying to find the loose bits. That's easier said than done here. Especially since we turn, so our angle changes on this leg joint. Just a little bit. And this section feels pretty padded, so looking up at that hip area, we might have to come back in and do another layer of color around that, possibly. We'll see though. Let's see. So nervous about tagging that skeleton in there. Don't want to slam this through too hard. I do think we're gonna need to approach this from the front here shortly. So this section got a little bit separated. So I'm probably gonna have to wrap the next round of color like starting in here and then work the way down. Just to clean that up a little bit. Alright, let me turn him in the hopes that we can see what we're doing a little bit better. He's going to get a little bit more awkward to position. In this particular area that we're working on. So hopefully you guys can bear with me with that. Just a bit. So make sure that we are actually stepped through here instead of just pulled tight. From a different anchor point. So did you add that extra stuff to it?
Yeah.
Our husband every year gets the cheap cornbread mix. What is it? The Jiffy brand, and every year he hates it. But so it's sort of a tradition at this point for him. But he found a baking website or a Reddit or something that somebody talked about adding a little extra something to it that made it taste 10 times better. So he's giving, excuse me, that a go. Alright. This is so awkward, Mr. Dino. I feel like we're invading your personal space. Quite a great deal. Sorry, there's the husband's timer going off. Mr. Dino, your feet are just in my face. And I just cannot find a good angle to get in here. That I can see at. Yeah, you know what? We might have to give you a small, slight barbershop pass in a couple of spots. Not everywhere necessarily, but by the time we're done, especially with my hand-eye coordination, it might be needed. Alright, it's not terrible. Considering the gymnastics we've had to do. But I am thinking we'll probably have to get some more stuff left here at some point. The needle hit the side of the tail. I was trying to get in there and work, so yeah, like I can see some fuzzes in here. I'm not gonna get too crazy obsessed with the trimming yet, because we still have a ways to go. But yeah, I mean, you know, we're not doing too bad. We got the tail finished up in here. We got the hip area kind of wrapped, and we're starting to put our tightened final skin color over here, and that is definitely helping to firm up and attach this stuff that's kind of willy-nilly, although this leg's a little bit stiffer than this one in spots, but you know, we'll get them there. Let's do our stand test here. So we're a little, I mean, yeah, if we just widen out the legs a little bit, he'll stand a little bit better. But that's also on an uneven surface. How are we doing on an even surface? Alright, not too bad. I mean, he's still going to be a bit top heavy, but we haven't really done much on the other leg yet. So that might even out as we go. And, you know, we do have the wire in there, so we can manipulate the wire a bit. So that's our Dino buddy. Our Dino buddy so far. So, I think we're going to pause it there because I'm starving. I need to go eat. or at least we need to start getting dinner figured out, because it's 6:30 and I've got a lot of other stuff I have to do tonight. So thank you guys for hanging out with me. Again, tomorrow we'll probably be doing work on this instead of Coral Island, and I do apologize for that, but this needs to get done. And we'll go from there. We won't be finishing him tomorrow, that's for sure. We might get a leg done, maybe if we're lucky. So I mean, I'd really like it if we get 2 legs done, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. I'm probably, yeah, I don't have that much fluff in there. Got about half a bag left, so might have to fluff some more stuff tomorrow. So make sure that you're following in all of the socially bits down below. And we're gonna call it there for tonight. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. And until we meet again, stay safe and have a good one.